Our next guest on the Any Given Runday podcast has ran over 300 marathons, winning over 70 of them, has represented Ireland in running, is a founder of Dublin Bay Running Club and East of Ireland Marathons, and despite severing an artery in his neck after a skiing accident early last year, is already back running marathons. Ger Copeland, welcome to this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. How are you getting on?
Good, Sean. Thank you. And Eric, good to have you.
Ger, when it rains, I don't go running. So I sound very pathetic now that you have gotten an introduction like that. One question we always ask, and it's how we always start the podcast: where did your love for running come from? How did you get involved? And where does the journey to running 300 marathons start?
Honestly, I suppose like the majority of us are running away from life, aren't we? I don't know what anybody says. It's therapy. It's free therapy when you're in your teens. I was a cyclist. I was a Gaelic footballer in my teens. The bike is the same as running. It's a freedom. You know, you go out and you just run and you forget the worry. And yeah, my teenage life, whether it was school, sport, family life, it may be like every other teenager, it is chaotic. And I loved the freedom that a bike would give me, the freedom that running gave me. I loved it. I was very fortunate. Genetically, I don't come from the best, but I've been stubborn enough that when I cycled for Ireland underage, I played Dublin minor football underage, obviously minor level. And, I was always one of these guys that I'm stubborn enough that I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound. And I love to win. I love a challenge and I love competition. And most of all, I love to see other people succeed, but I do like to win. And people say, oh, you're very eager. I love to win. And I love that feeling of exhaustion when you run a race. I love to see the person beside me, whether that's in an Ironman, a bike race, or a run, just been exhausted. That sheer not having a drop of energy left. And I love that feeling of myself. So, yeah, I had that from my teenage years. I was lucky enough now, I went to college doing sports. And then I suppose I dropped out of college probably 2 years in, and I went into billing. And within a space then, maybe another year to on, I went self-employed. I started driving, and I bought a house all in the space of 6 months. And I went from being super fit, training every day, cycling in and out of work, to doing nothing. And I just got lazy and fat. In the space of 6 months, I went from being like 10.5 stone race weight to 16 stone without realizing it.
Wow.
I just ballooned. And I suppose I got greedy during the boom times, like the early noughties. And I loved the money. I was 21, 22 years of age. I had a house. I had a Land Cruiser. I was living the dream, but it was getting unhealthy, And I went away on the holidays with a friend of mine who had always been with me, Nolene. And we'd known each other since we were kids. And she's a 6 foot blonde triathlete, super fit physiotherapist. And I was now this chunky monkey. And I didn't realize it. And we were on holidays, and the sun came around and we were messing, and she said, you've got very unhealthy, Ger. I was like, what are you talking about? And I always tell the story, and she was like, no, you've got fat and you've got lazy, And in my head, I still thought it was this ripped guy who got the scholarship for sport, who had done sport in college. And I was like, no. I said, what are you talking about, you crazy woman? She goes, what waist are you? And I always tell the story, and I'm a short ass, so I'm 5'7". And she goes, what waist are your new jeans? And we're away in Spain. I said, the new jeans, they're waist 36. And she goes, on what leg are you? And I went, 31. And she goes, I rest my case. Your waist is now bigger than your leg. You're obese. Look, and I was, my body kicked in, I was like, the hell with you, woman? How dare you, You may, she's 6 months, she's blowing all these men around her. I'm waddling around. I was kind of going, no, I'll show you. I said, the Dublin City Marathon in 6 months' time, I'll run it. And I'm going to run it under 3:20 or 3:30. And she's like, you will, all right. And I said, I will. I'm going to lose the weight. So I came home, and the first couple of days, I went up to DCU Park, Harbour Park, Albert College Park in Collins Avenue. And that was in 1 mile loops. And I ran the first mile, and I was exhausted. And I was shocked. No. I was like, how did I go from being the guy that was racing 6 months? Like, I was racing bikes. I was doing short runs. I was doing, how did I go from this to this? But then it kicked in. Then that competitive edge that I always had. My competition up to that had been, buy houses, make money. And it sounds very materialistic, but that's what I got caught up in, that world. And then suddenly it was like, no, I'm the athlete again. And I put my head down and I ran the marathon. I think I went 3:20 something. And at that stage, there was very few. I wasn't with a club. I was doing my own training with a couple of guys from Clonley, older guys that were probably in their 60s, who were old school. And we do a couple of laps of Albert College Park. And that was it. I remember, and I got to 13 miles, I think 2 or 3 weeks before the marathon. I went around maybe 1:13 and 13 miles, 13 laps of the park like a lunatic on Saturday morning. And I said, John, if we get halfway, I can do the second half. I was in my head, I knew, there was no way I wasn't going to be able to do it. I just didn't know what time or what shape I'd be in. So, yeah, I got the half marathon in my own training, and then I jumped in and went 3:20 something, and it all fell into place. And then it just fell in from there. I love the marathon distance. I love anything from marathon over, just because you suffer more in a different way. I know people suffering. Like, I know people suffer in their own way. Like, you can suffer in a 5K. I know you suffer in a 5K because it's about speed, and you suffer in a 10K. But the marathon is just, if you go fast, so if you go slow, you suffer. There's just a suffering for the whole day, for that 3 hours you're out there, whatever it is. And I just really enjoyed it. And at that stage, there was only 3 marathons really that you heard of. You had Dublin, and you used to have Belfast in May. And I used to do the Belfast in May, and then I do triathlons, a couple of Olympic distance, and maybe a half Ironman throughout the season, and then I finish off with Dublin. And you used to have maybe Cork in June, and I think I'd done it once, but throughout the summer then was always triathlon, and then you jump in, and I was Dublin then at the end of the season, and that was my season over. And then from that, it just got more and more. I just kind of got addicted to the marathon and doing more marathons.
Was it good to have the foundation in triathlon? Did you find that it complements the running? It's one of the topics we always have. We have a lot of triathletes on, we have a lot of runners on, and there seems to be the handhold of the two. Would you put a preference on marathons? Would you preference on, or do you just like the idea of both and being able to be good at both?
I like both. For me, it's the sort. Yet again, it's endurance. It's being out there. Look, I've done the 24-hour races. I've done 12-hour races, 100-mile, 100K. There used to be a race in Donegal called the Race in Donegal, which is a 250-mile adventure race that you had 22 hours to do. And I just love. For me, it's not the preference. It's just really the endurance. And I don't think if there's any difference cycling for 20-something hours or running. I think it's just been out there for that long. Look, Anto Lee, Mr. Donadee, he would always laugh at me and say, you know what, you're great for the first 12 hours, but once it gets dark, I always want to go to sleep. And we did 24-hour races. And we used to do 24-hour races, and we'd be out there, and it could be like whether it's the Connemara 100 or, he goes, and Gerard's going to be the 12-hour winner, but he won't last for 14 hours. But once it gets dark, all I want to do is sleep. I always just got tired. So night time, we could stay bright all day long. I was the best in the world. But once it got dusky or dark, that was the end for me. But no, I didn't feel each, like a triathlon Ironman, I didn't feel complimented the ultra running or the marathon. I found it was just the endurance. It wasn't like I got better at running because I was doing triathlon. I got better at triathlon because it was, a runner. It was just the endurance again. And I found was the mainstay.
I don't know what's more shocking, Ger, the fact that 21, 22, you could buy a house back then, or the fact there was only like 3 races a year. But by the time you were a founder of the Dublin Bay Running Club, like, what was the running landscape like back then? Because like now, it's like there was a 2-hour waiting queue trying to get into Dublin Half Marathon a couple of weeks ago. But back then, like, the lottery system didn't come into the Dublin Marathon to 2020 or 2019, 2020. And it's obviously a big boom then. When you had Dublin Bay Running Club, I know you had East of Ireland Marathons, and your first event, you had like 41 runners, and it built from there. So what was the running landscape like back then? Was there many people? Was it a big boom, or was it starting to come?
I suppose you could say. I remember, so I did my first marathon in 2001. And I remember there was like 3,000 people doing Dublin. And I remember doing Dublin, and the roads weren't closed that year. Now, you had one lane of the road closed. Like, I always tell the story. I always remember running down Wicklow Main in jail. I remember 2 taxis that were stuck across the road, and the car had stopped them because it was just, but the roads were open. I remember one of the you running wanker. Before they came a popular insult to us these days, like, there was a taxman with his fist out, like, and there was nobody, there was 3,000 runners, so we were well spread out compared to now. And there he was, waving his fist, screaming, like, get out there, you fucking running wankers, you're holding everybody up. What the hell? But there was nobody around. There was only 3,000 runners. There was talk that Dublin was going to get cancelled. They didn't know how far. Like, it wasn't happening. Nobody was interested in running. And that's what I was saying to you at a couple of minutes ago. Like, when I started running around Albert College Park, there was a couple of old guys in their 50s and 60s, hardcore runners from Clonliffe, but there wasn't like there is now. There wasn't like, you look around, every street seems to have a running group or a running club now, which is brilliant. But there wasn't that interest. So what really got me hooked on the marathons was back in 20. So my middle son was born in 2010, Ushin, and he was born with a condition called congenital hyperthyroidism, no thyroid gland, which affected his growth and he was a really sick baby. And he was in Temple Street for the first 6 months. And I used to do the night shift in the hospital. His mum would spend during days, night go on the night, but he was in the intensive care ward, St. Pat's Intensive Care. And we were going in, but there's nowhere for the adults to sleep anymore. And this was at the height of the recession. The economy kind of crashed in 2008. And this is 2010. And we're kind of going, what's going on? And the nurses just come into your night, and you're in this little ward on your own, little room, because it's intensive care and it's high dependency. And there'll be a chair, and you said, is there no beds for us to sleep on? And they were like, we don't have anything anymore for anybody to sleep on. We just haven't been able to replace the mattresses that we used to fold out. And this was shocking to me. So this is like the children's. And I remember saying to her, I said, what would it take to buy beds for the parents to sleep on the floor? And she's like, I don't know. I said, if I raised 20,000, would I be able to get the beds? Oh, that'd be more than enough. I said, well, I'm going to run 20 marathons in 6 months. As soon as he gets out of hospital, I'll put a plan together and I'll raise you the 20,000. Now, as it turned out, it would have been cheaper for me to give her the 20,000. Because I found I had to go. It would have been, this is the mad thing. I found myself, I went to London, I went to Edinburgh, I went to Chicago. I done a world tour. There was very few, besides Dublin, Belfast, and I think there was Waterford, and there was the Portumna 100, which was my first 100k race, which I actually ended up winning. But there was no like the landscape now where you can throw a stone there and you'll hit 5 marathons at a weekend during the summer in this country now. You couldn't at the time. And it cost me money to travel. So I went off and I've done the 20 marathons in 6 months, which went extremely well. And I found I was doing the majority in 3 hours. And there was a 100k thrown in Portumna, which I won my first ultra. And it was the national championships that year. And I won it. And I was going, this is great. I was falling away from triathlon because I'm bike racing. I was getting more in love with marathon because I was winning now. I was always competitive, but now I found that actually if I put more time to this, I actually get quicker. But I was going, there's no races on, so this is over. I was going, what do we do? And while I was doing this 20 marathons in 6 months, I met a guy called Frank McDermott. And we got and I soon found that he was doing these smaller races as well. There was a league called the West of Ireland League. And they put a race in Salt Hill. We had run 2-mile loops in around Salt Hill once every 2 months. And we were going, so what, we should bring something like this back to Dublin. And as you said, we set up East of Ireland, and we put our first race on in Clontarf, and there was 41 people. And I was like, okay, there is an interest in people that want to run a marathon every second week, every month. And we said at that stage it was 41. But it's basically a year. We had 5,000 members on Facebook. And our races were selling out. We always restricted our races. Very big, we put almost 300. Because after that, then you need road closure permits, and it just got messy. But up to that point, we were fully assured we had official measured courses from Athletics Ireland. So we had everything in place. And we just rolled it. And then we started putting a race on once a month. And we had a course in Holt, which were 4 loops around the hill, or we had a course in Clontarf, we had a course in the Curra race. In the Curra Army Camp, we had a course, which is like the longest cross-country race you'll ever do in your life, up your knees and mud for 26 miles.
I've done that race many times.
Pardon?
I've done that race many times.
Oh, it's awful for 26 miles. But that's what suffering again. Bring it on. But it just got bigger and bigger. But was that stage now where we realised the running was getting bigger? It's what it is now. Now, as you say, you have a lottery system for Dublin Marathon. Every race seems to have a lottery system or a standby list.
When you did, just bringing up Holt and that 4 laps there, and people are listening going, Jesus, 6 marathons 20 marathons in 6 months. In 2014 with the East of Ireland, you did 10 marathons in 10 days around Holt. And I'll get 2015 in a second. 4 laps around Holt Head every day for 10 days.
No, was that a 10 and 5?
That was the following year, seemingly.
That was the first year.
You jumped on ahead of the story.
Yeah,
Let's scratch 2014. Let's go straight to 2015.
I can't remember this stuff. 2014 was 10. It was 10 marathons in 10 days. Actually, we done every alternative day was Holt, and the first day was Clontarf in the seafront.
Right.
And then the second day was Holt, and then Clontarf, Holt.
And that was just too easy, and you just decided, let's do 10 marathons in 5 days and suffer enough. What happened there, Ger?
So you find yourself when you're around these lunatics that do marathons and ultra races every week. It does get too easy. Like, I remember I think my second or third Dublin Marathon, and Dave Brady, he's like the godfather of running. People were saying, "You see your man over there? You see him? He's doing his back-to-back marathon." And I was going, back-to-back? Yeah, he ran Dublin last year, and he's running it this year. They go back to back. They're crazy. At that stage, people look at it and go, he is nuts. And people go, it's like his 12th marathon, his 12th. And now you're kind of going, right now it's like back to back. Like people do that in a day. You know, you're kind of, well, back then it was like you run one marathon in a lifetime, and that was the ultimate goal. Like it was like, this is crazy. But this, yeah, so I found you around these people. Sorry, then we have a big Filipino community with us at Dublin Bay Running Club, and they were like, wouldn't it be great? Because EOY, East Water Marathon, and the DBRC went hand in hand. And they're like, let's put the ultimate on. And we had seen it was 10 marathons in 10 days down the country. And we went, we can do that. And we put it on, which brought us on to 2015, which was for the world record of 10 marathons in 5 days, which was all in Hout.
Yeah, not exactly the flattest course in the world to do
No,
that.
like, if you want to go 2.5, what was it, 2,800 feet of elevation in a marathon. And we just do it clockwise in the morning and then anti-clockwise in the evening. So we used to go at 6 in the morning. You go at 6 in the morning, you do your 4 laps, and you had 6 hours to get in. Now, I did take part in this one. I was very lucky. I did win overall and get the world record, which was great. But at the time, it was I went down. I used to do them all around 3 hours, 3:15, because I had this idea: the longer I got to rest, the better. But some people, they had 6 hours to get in. So you came in at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You had some passing. You were sent back out then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon again. But we had runners from Australia, Italy, America, plenty of English, British coming over, and plenty of Irish. And it was just the craziest thing ever. Like everybody, like I don't think you can give people enough. Like if people see a challenge, like bring it on.
How do you handle running 3:15? Running though, I did a couple of training runs up that hill of Holt, and my God, the elevation is unbelievable. But to run at 3:15 constantly up there, knowing you're going back out there the afternoon and then keep it going for 4 days, are you just powering up it, or like how mentally how do you approach those hills? Although you're probably so used to it, is it just flat to you at this stage? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so you're just like.
I suppose I won't lie to you. My slowest marathon that week, that 5 days, I think I went around 3:50 on the last day. It did take its toll. I suppose the other thing that I had in my favour was I had 2 young kids, and I used to run the hill, the buggy, and a double buggy.
Wow.
So on a Saturday morning, I used to leave my house, which was in the village, my former house, and I'd run to the summit. And from the summit to Sutton Cross, and then I'd run into the city centre. And I'd come back out and then go back over the hill with a buggy, a single or a double buggy. Well, they were on their Game Boys and their bottles in their mouth. And that's what I did with 30 miles, 26 miles, 30 miles every Saturday morning with my kids. So I've raced marathons with East of Ireland, pushing a buggy for the 4 laps and won, which is embarrassing. There's I'll send a picture on to you later. The lads, I have a picture run between the guys again, second and third, and I'm pushing a buggy, and they're like, you're a fucker. Or what I used to love on the Hout years ago as well, I used to have a carbon bike, but I had a child seat on the back of the carbon bike. And I used to go to the steep end, go up by the church, go by the steep end, and you'd be in all your cycling gear, and you go by someone who's panting, and they're struggling as well, and you go, how are you? You go, how are you? You go, boy, and then the baby on the back will go, hello. And they go, oh, Jesus. And it's just the suffering. And inside I would be breaking. I would be in bits. But I'd make sure that it's just to mess with people's head. Just to go, it's the same as racing. It's putting on the 10 marathons in 5 days. People love this challenge. There's plenty of people like us that just runners mostly that just they love the suffering. And they love this just bit of an ego with it as well. Push people on.
And in your spare time you do Ironmans as well back then.
Yeah. Ironman. No, going back to Ironman the last couple of years. I used to Ironman, as I said, before the kids were born. I used to love doing Ironman. I was always a big bike racer, so Ironman's in a natural progression when it became the hip, cool sport around 20 years ago. And just, I kind of fell out with them as my kids came along. And then 3 years ago now, we had a teammate of ours at Dublin Bay who died of brain tumour. And in her memory, then, probably 4 weeks later, I said, I'm going to do Ironman Copenhagen in Claudia's memory. And I jumped in and went brave to 11 hours. I was like, happy out. And then we did the following thing the following year again, no training again. Myself, another teammate, Roy, said he'd do it with me this year. They just jumped in and, a little bit of swimming, a little bit of cycling. And I said, cycling's fun because I would use Swift, the stationary bike, as part of my running training anyway. We didn't get out running, or even though we did get out running, I still jump on Swift every day anyway. So cycling's still in my legs. So the fact is, it's the swimming I just really have to get through. But yeah, jump in and then off we go. You seem shocked, lads. Is that okay?
Yeah, bananas. How are you not injured? Like, how are you able to to run like 300 marathons like over a somewhat relatively short space of time? Consider it's only 52 weeks in the year. You'd have to do one straight for 6 years, and like, and then you're doing Ironmans in there. You've done trail runs. You've done 100K representing Ireland. How was the body feeling like over these last couple of years? Was there a point where it was like mileage you back, and you must have had too high a mileage if you're constantly racing all the time? And how did that work in the body?
But yeah, well, we'll get to the last year now in a while. But you know what? My training miles were very small. It was like people always say, like, I would be the man that put maybe 35, 40 miles in a week. I would have done maybe, like, I'm very blessed to live in Hope, so I can do a trail run. And I reckon trail is worth, say, you've done 10 on the 10K trail, it's worth 15 on your road. But I was always going race to race. So if I was doing a fast 5K this weekend, I'd done a fast 10K next weekend. But then the following week I was doing a marathon. There was always a marathon once a month. So basically, and I was always, so of them, I think like 90% are under 3 hours. So, but you're always coming, you were either coming out of a marathon and you were in the recovery that week, or else you were going into a race. So for me, you're always kind of just tipping over. It didn't have to be, like, I see people now that do training plans, like, and they're doing 120 miles a week. Or I see lads that are going out and they're doing like long runs. They do like 20 to 30 miles, sometimes doing 30 mile runs on a Sunday morning. Even for me now, it's like, that's crazy. Now I know they're getting the benefits of it, and it's working for them, but I'm still going, I never had to do that. Like, and if I did, I would have been so much better. But yeah, I wasn't. Like, I was a building contractor as well, so all day long I was on my tools. Like, when people say, "Yeah, I'm a control freak," if we're laying blocks together. Like, I was the lad that was on the roof on with the camera. We put the roof on together. I was always wanted to be in the mix. So my training during the day, core wise and strength training, was building. And then as it just huge more, I felt if you're racing, you're always race fit. And I was always probably a stubborn enough asshole, egotistical enough asshole, that, you know, I'd make myself suffer more than you. If I seen you suffer, I knew I could suffer worse than you. I knew I could push myself harder than you. So I was always kind of, as I said, blessed with that stupid mindset, might be a thick mindset. But injuries didn't, I was never, yeah, we all get little niggles, but I never, unless it was from running, there was never anything, like, I broke my neck 6 years ago, I fell off a roof. But it was never a substantial from running that I got some major. Maybe now for a month with a tear in your calf or a hamstring or a hip issue, but it was never anything where I know people are out for 6 months or they've been out for a year from such high mileage. But no, I've been blessed in that regard that up until recently, that was never an issue.
When you look at when you got into running on that first marathon, and it started on a journey to lose weight, and now it's a journey of hundreds of marathons. We have Garmin's, we have Strava, we have training plans. Everyone's an expert. We've clowns doing podcasts. We've all sorts surrounded by running.
Are you talking about Sean again?
Yeah, Sean is the clown. I didn't say clowns, just clown doing a podcast. What have you seen change in that kind of training? Have you seen more benefits in the technology coming into it, or is it getting too complicated, or is it more enjoyable now to have that extra bit of accountability?
I think there's many answers to that now. So the first one was, I used to use a Casio G-Shock. When I was doing, up until maybe 5 years ago, I had a Casio G-Shock. And I was a 3-hour pacer, 3:10 pacer for Dublin, 3-hour pacer for Belfast, all the big marathons. And I'd be on a Casio G-Shock and we go, okay, that's 7:52. Okay, that's 50. And that's how I'd work out my miles. And I was out there leaving saying, you need to get a Garmin because you need to be hitting the number. Because you slowly off, now you see the sign for 3 miles, you go, okay, now I know. And the Garmin kept you in check. I think, yes, it has been over. I think too many people, you see the training plans, you see them. You said to yourself, there's lads training out there like professional athletes. I don't know how to get them. And there's lads there's people out there, yes, that say for every 10, they're getting these amazing plans and training like athletes. There's 2, maybe 1 of some of them that are doing great. It's probably even less. I'd say every 100, there's probably maybe 2 or 3 that actually get the benefits of being a professional athlete, and they're doing amazing. But it's not that guys putting so much effort in, they're not getting the benefit out of it. And they're not living, they're taken away from their own lives. Like the joy of life that they won't have a bar of chocolate. I eat chocolate all day long. I drink Diet Coke. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. But at least junk food, I allow myself to live. And I always did. Even when I was racing it to a high level, I always allowed myself that snack box during the week. I always allowed myself that batter burger. I didn't stop myself. And I always drank Diet Coke and had maybe 7 or 8 bars of chocolate a day. But you see lads now, like, they won't have a cup of tea after 7 o'clock. or there's no milk. But isn't it going, lads, for all the effort you're putting in, you're not getting any better. You'd be better doing half the miles and living, and I'd say you probably be a minute slower than you are at the moment. And it is overcomplicated. As you said, there's plenty of guys out there with training plans and making training plans on the regions. But there's no way, there is guys out there going, look, they're sending out, they're charging 40, 50 quid a month, and they're sending out plans, but it's one size fits all. They're not tailoring it. Everybody's getting the same plan being emailed to them on a Sunday, and they go, that just doesn't suit everybody. And people are just, so I said, it's not for me to say. If people come to me for, like, I do train people and I will tailor their plans, and I don't charge because I'm not interested in it. It's because they're usually with my running club, and it's going, yeah, there you go. But there is guys out there that are clueless. There's an awful lot of very average runners out there telling people how to be great runners. And mate, call me wrong, call me an asshole, call me what you will. I don't think that's right either. I don't think there's guys out there who don't get out and run, giving plans out. Like if they've never done, like, if you haven't run a marathon, don't tell me how to run a marathon. But if you ran a marathon, you've done it 5-6 hours, I will listen to you and I'll say, okay, you've been out there, Tom, you've done the same amount of miles in that race as I have. So you have some insight into it. But don't be telling me how to race my marathon. Look, I had a guy tell me how to do an Ironman. Like, not that I needed or was listening, but he was like, yeah, you'll get through that, no problem, you'll be fine. And I was going, like, this was a heavily obese guy. I was going, how do you know? how do you know it'll be fine? Oh, I know, yeah, but this is what you do with your swim, and this, and it's going. And when was the last Ironman or triathlon or race that you did? Oh no, I'm not into that now, but I know, I know we can do it, and this is what, forget it. Like, but but there's other people listening to them, people who aren't so sure themselves are listening to that rubbish. Because it might instill a little bit of confidence in them, but I just, for me personally, I think it's wrong.
And I suppose that's the difference with social media now. We used to hear conversations over a beer or over whatever in a pub or in a social setting in a club. You'd just be taking whoever's on the soapbox at that time, you could take it or leave it. But now social media, you can get a lot of false information. You can get a lot of other people's opinions. And if, like you said, you're a little bit clueless or beginning in the sport or looking for extra inspiration, you can be picked up on the wrong things.
It's a side hustle. Like, for some of them, it is a side hustle. And everybody's a hero in their head. Like, I remember a fella coming to me and I think I'd gone 2:36 in Chicago. So my PB was 2:36 in Chicago. And we were yapping away. And he was giving me all that. And I said, so you've ran a marathon. But he was giving it all that. You would have ran the same time, if not better than me. And he was giving it, and he was, no, we didn't run that. He goes, listen, I got up to 20 miles and I was on the same pace as you, but I knew I would have been able to do it.
No. That's when the race starts.
But it was deadly. See, like, eye to eye, I was like, right, so you've run 20, yeah, I've done 20 miles of training, but I was on the same pace as you. I knew I was for the 6 minute miles, but at 20 miles I was done, but I knew I could have competed and I would have, but you haven't done a marathon. No, but I knew I was at that stage. I was good enough that we would have got to that level. I was like, oh. But that's what I mean. Like, anybody can talk. No one's going to stop you talking, but you can do the walk then. If you're going to talk and walk, and don't talk just to talk.
Anyone that's listening to this that's on a marathon knows when you hit 32k, that's when that last 10k is the making or breaking of you.
Absolutely, but this fella,
many races close to that and gone at that stage.
But this fella felt he could come up and say to me, actually, he was deadly serious. That's the way I still say him from time to time. I still think he's run the marathon in the last 6 years. But he was able to look me in the eye and say, yeah, no, I would have got that now. I would have beaten you that day. All right, thanks. Go away. But up to that point, I thought he was, I didn't know anything about him. As to now I do. But he was just one of these guys that was able to, I know myself. I didn't have to do the marathon to prove myself or get that medal or win, but I knew I was that good. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I wish I had that confidence sometimes, to be honest.
Lack of self-awareness more so.
Absolutely, You need to join a running club or talk to people, buddy. Go away.
I want to get into skiing last year and all the rest. But before that, leading up to that, or just with all the runs, the marathon stuff, what was the main thing that just drives you? Is it just fitness, getting out there? Is it mindset? Is it do you have goals to try and go from 10 marathons to 5 days to something even more insane further on? Like, what was the main drive for you before last February?
I suppose there's a couple of factors to that. I've touched on before, and there's plenty of people who'll be shaking their head now, going, "What a wanker!" I love to win. There's no better feeling. There's no better feeling. Anybody tells you, anybody that trains or wants to win, or be plays. Look, I said, I ran 300 marathons. 90% are under 3 hours. I was lucky enough. No, I didn't. I never won Dublin. I never won your Corks. But I always said to people, I'd rather win, a Neo Y, or come, or there's race leagues up the north, or win a Monaghan, win a Dingle, or come second in a Dingle, or place in a race like that 3 or 4 times, maybe 10 times a year. Like in 2018, I won. I think I won a marathon every calendar month. So every month I won a marathon, which was great. Then it went big. But every race was
a win's a win. You're racing.
A win's a win. You can only race who's around you. And I used to say that to people, but I would have went between 240 and 250 month in, month out. And that was great for me. I got to Lanzarote, come toured overall, and win my age category. And I loved it. And anybody says, "Oh no, that's egotistic." Listen, anybody that's up that level wants to win. I'm sorry, the people that tell you that it's egotistic, you're an asshole. They haven't got the race isn't the same. For them, it might be about quantity. For me, it was about quality. And I love that. And I love seeing my friends. I love seeing my teammates who come up and say, "I'm a 5-hour marathon, what can you do for me?" And I bring them down to 4 hours, bring them down to 3 hours. And some of them now are like down to 240. And they're amazing. And I go, "Holy 240, where did that come from?" And but that's what they are now. And I love to see that people. I love competitiveness. I love drive. My biggest dislike in life is wasted talent. And that goes across the spectrum, whether that's in your job, whether that's as you as a person, whether that's in sport. I hate, but there's so much potential in people. And it's assholes, as we spoke about, telling you, "Oh yeah, I can run 2:35. There's the wasted talent. If you can run 35, go up to the line. Anybody can talk it. Now walk it. And I said, for me, it's about seeing people improve. It's the joy of winning, I said. And the joy of achievement. And then at the end, even if you don't win, being able to say, "You know what, I had that goal," whether it was the marathon, the 10K, I got there and I knocked it, I finished. Like, a finish is so much better than a DNS. And plenty of lads, they'll talk the talk, and they'll always have the amazing phantom injury a week before the race and they're out. I'll applaud anybody that finishes. Anybody goes to the start line and finishes, I'll applaud you 100%. I'll be your biggest fan, your biggest champion. So yeah, it's a mixture of answers. For me, it's across the board. It's the winning, it's the endurance, it's the as we spoke about before. And it's seeing other people succeed, especially teammates and friends.
And looking at this through the clubs and through your own club as well, and seeing the growth in clubs, okay, there's those who want to win and who are operating at that. And we've interviewed some fantastic people who are operating on that level. They're competing at that level, and it's great to see. But now there's a mass that are coming in to participate and to achieve their own goals, their own PBs. What is the shift, or why are people getting so in love with the marathon and so in love with run clubs and, our Saturday morning run groups? What is driving people into running now?
For me personally, I was a cyclist, an underage cyclist in the early 90s, mid 90s. And cycling and running, they were the two really no-make sports. Now, I played football, so I was used to the banter in the dressing room, getting your arse slagged off before a match or after a match, or you made a mess of your game, you had a howler. But you found the guys that cycled and ran back then we were the nerds. We were the guys that, the Billy No-Mates, we were just, keep them on. They're on the spectrum. They do their own thing. That's what was seen as. Like cyclists, I remember when I was training with teens, cyclists wouldn't wave to each other. Pass the cyclist down the way, give you a nod. Oh wait, you didn't get that. I had guys in their 40s that used to pick on us when we were 16 at the same club, because they seen it all as everybody was competition. Everybody, and they were weird guys. They would have been weird guys their own age, and the same as runners. But suddenly became fashionable because it was a club thing now. You can go into a club now and you can have the crack, you can have the banter. For years I ran on my own, I've run with kids, but I run with groups now, groups of lads, and it's like being a football team again. It's a fun activity, it's fun, it's free, which is the main, look, already it's a pair of trainers, and but you can go and do it anytime you want during the week on your own, and then you can have the free with your friends, and you can talk, and there's much more racing out there now. And racing is so much more, it's accessible. And you go to a racing, you'll see, look at how are you Sean, how are you Ger, how are you Mary, big hugs. Look, it was eyeball stuff when I was racing initially, and it's the same as bike race, but it's just a friendlier world. It's a friendlier sports circle now, and I think that's great. And like people say, you get out for a run. It's not like this, oh, you're going to run one marathon, your hips will be gone, and your knees, and you'll never do another one. Who says to you now, you'll only run one marathon in your life, but your hips will never be the same? That was the thing. Before I even done the 10 marathons in 5 days, I think I ran Dublin on the Monday, New York on the Sunday. And then people saying to me, "You're going to kill yourself. You're going to die." It's like, what? I was like, "What are you mental? Like, you know, it's a run. Like, you know, what people going, you won't run again. 2 marathons in a week. That's crazy. That's got to be bonkers. You're going to kill yourself there." But they're deadly serious because that was the mindset.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know, you have fun days. It's like bring the family, do the family 5K. You know, there's balloons, there's face painting, and some races at the end for the kids. It's just more fun. It's just more accepting and appealing for everybody, I think, now, which is great.
Mm.
And clubs are more like families. And beforehand, you know, you join the club, he's with Clonliffe, or he's with whatever, another big institution club, Raheny. And if you're at the top of the peak, he's going to get a scholarship. It was nearly your way to the next level. Whereas now they're open, they're all family groups. They're open to everybody, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and it is class to see. And it's always a person probably biting off a breakfast roll. It's like, oh, you can't be running. That'll do your knees and your ankles and all the rest. Have just never done a thing in their life. Like, it's don't know what else.
You've done Donadee last year, and Donadee is a prime example of the running community. It's the best of the best, running wise and the community wise. Look around the cheers you got out for everybody. Like, you know, you even said yourself, like Mark on the MC was giving you abuse. Everybody, but it's all good natured.
Oh yeah, like, absolutely,
wants, like, and then when you're coming on to the 5 hours, and the last song you play is "Loser," and everybody's happy. You know, Beck, you're a loser, baby. And this last one, they're going to miss out by 5 seconds, but everybody's still cheering and winning. Like, if you can will someone on to finish within that 5 hours, everybody is willing you on. There's no one there going, "Hope he doesn't." Like, that kind of, he's not going to make it. Just stop. Everybody's going, "I hope he makes it. I hope he makes it." And it's that feel good factor that's another community now. It's just a much better feel good factor about everybody.
Absolutely. Even I was there last weekend down the half marathon stuff, and some people are using that as a training base for the 50K, and just, you know, talking to them all. It's just a real feel good buzz and stuff. It's like, what better way to get a long run in than here, as opposed to trying to go out by yourself and stuff. And it's absolutely brilliant. Like, as soon as I had the chance to stand up for the next year, I was in, based more so on community than anything else. Like,
I know it's great. As I said, like, today's how I think, like, you're always going to get eyeball to eyeball up to front when you have the guys that are fantastic.
That's competition.
But absolutely. But once you're past that first 10, 15 runners, like the rest of us now, look, there's a 4-hour pacer last year. And just the fun you bringing people home, knowing that they're going to get their goals. And even like yourself now, you're running with your friends, you're going by your family every lap, and everybody's cheering. Nobody's going, "You're slow." And if they are, they're saying it tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
You know, they go, "Jesus, did you get a flat tire in your shoe?" Whoa, you know, it's the usual crap, like, you know, but there's no malice in it, which is great.
No. Absolutely, yeah.
I know, and I said, when you're lapped with the first guys, Ian Fitzgerald, when he used to be Gary O'Hanlon or Sean Hill, and everybody's still applauding. You go, "Come on, guys, it's just a joy to see them lap you." Yeah. You're not going, "Oh my God, I've been lapped for the third time." You're actually going, "Fucking, they're awesome." Holy.
And those boys, I remember Ian Fitzgerald, when he lapped me 3rd or 4th time, he's like, "Come on, Sean, keep going." I'm like, how does he have the energy to tell me to keep going at the pace he's running? Like, he's encouraging me.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm obviously encouraging him, but he's trying to push me on and trying to get me to keep going, while he's at the same time trying to concentrate and win a thing. Like, it's phenomenal.
Well, that's how racing has become now. Like, and I suppose social media has made it smaller. In one way, it's made it smaller. Everybody knows everybody. Whereas beforehand, like, you know, 10 years ago, would you have known when Gary O'Hanlon was winning? You wouldn't have known him. Whereas now, I can send a message to Ian or Gary. You say, "Well done today," go, and you get a message back.
Steady, yeah.
And which is in one way, technology is fantastic in that way, and everybody knows, and you can applaud, and you send a private message, which is brilliant. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal community, but it was one where you were almost taken completely away from last year when you went skiing up in France. Reading into it, best coming from your mouth. What happened, Ger?
What happened? I've done numerous podcasts now. The best way, I was skiing one Thursday. I went away with my wife and my eldest son. And on the Thursday morning, 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, slopes were open. And there was a couple of students, and it was this big French guy. He was probably around 18, 19 years of age. And he skied into his friends. We were waiting to go on the ski lift, and he skied into his friends, and he knocked them over. And I'll never forget, he had a Man United bubble jacket on. I'm a real anti-Man United. You know, give me Liverpool, Celtic, but anybody but United. But he knocked his 5 or 6 friends over. It could have been a few more. And they all went down with pins, and they all got jumped up. They're speaking of French, and now they're saying to him, "You big flipping idiot," like, you know.
Yeah.
But he had no control. You could see him come around the corner. He had no control. He didn't know how to stop. And it's just the schools and the colleges taking a group of lads out, and they do it every Thursdays and Fridays in the skiing season. There's always the students out there. And I said to Jenny, and I said to my son, "Jesus, look at him." I said, "The size of him, he's going to kill somebody today. He just has no control." And we laughed about it. Lo and behold, 10 minutes later, we're up the next slope. And Jenny's up the top of the slope making her way down gradually. It's a bit mushy. I'm in the middle. And it's 40 foot wide. Like, it's not as if it's a small, but there's no, Fiona's down below aching to get on the black rope. Can I go, Dad? Can I go, Dad? He's a fantastic skier. And I said, wait till Jenny gets down. I'm just going to wait here till Jenny. And lo and behold, 40 foot wide, I'm on my own. This guy comes around the corner. And I said, oh no. And I said, if I move to the right, he moved with me. If I moved to the left. And I was just literally just swaying on. And it was like somebody take, like a bad footballer taking a penalty. And all they could do was aim at the goalkeeper. He was just in such fear. And I said, he's going to hit me. And he did. He came straight into me. But he knocked me over. I had my helmet on. I rolled over. Now, he was worse than me. He done the cartwheels. Like, his skis and the poles went arseways. Whereas I was like, I just went over on I never hit my head, but not major. Like, it was, like, I have a helmet on for that reason. Like, and he rolled, and I got my pole, and I went down to him and said, you okay? And he was very apologetic. Lovely young lad. Now, in fairness, he was a lovely young lad. He was French. He was like, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? I was like, no. I said, but you're hurt. I said, now, there's your skis. And I helped him put his skis back on because he had no balance. We're on a slope that's like this. And he's very apologetic. I was like, off you go. So sorry. Off you went. Thought nothing of it. So Jenny comes down to me and, are you okay? I said, yeah. Bit of a knock, not major. I'm okay. You can. Went down to Fiona. Fiona went off his black cross piece ski. And we went and said, you know what? Let's just stay in the blue. And we'll meet you down there, Fiona. You go your way. We'll go our way. Thought none of it. That night I had a headache and a sore neck. As I said previously, I broke my neck 6 years. 6 years ago, I fell off a roof. But I just thought it was stiff. It wasn't like, oh my God. But I had a headache and I couldn't sleep. Took a Nurofen. I don't take painkillers. I took a Nurofen. That went down for a couple of days. I came home on the Sunday. We raced the Lusk 4 miler. And I went around 22 minutes. But I remember when I was running, I had this pumping headache and I felt dizzy. I was going, and then I came in 22 minutes. I was going, you know what? I really should have run faster for how I feel. And you know yourself as runners, when you run fast, sometimes you feel awful. And you do feel awful, but you go, that was a great time. It was worth feeling awful for that 3 miles out of 4 miles. And I felt I should have went probably around 20 minutes. I thought I just ran. I really felt awful. So Jenny came in, and the rest of the club members came in and said, I go, boys. I said, geez, it didn't feel great there, Jenny. I don't know what's wrong with you. She goes, could we just tired from the skiing? I said, my head is pounding again. So I went home, took another thing, got to bed that night. Monday, got up, done a bit of work. And that evening, I was going to give a kettlebells class. And we're driving down the Feltram area, back of Swords. I was literally driving down the Feltram. And I turned my head to look around the corner in the car. And I just felt this complete out-of-body experience. It was just like, whoa. What? Dizzy, discombobulated, absolutely just completely out. And I pulled into a service station. And my friend Dee was in the car with me. But she does the kettlebells class with me. And I said, Dee, I need to get Diet Coke or chocolate here. For me, because that fixes everything. You know, being the chocolate, sugar, fantastic, bring it on. I walked into the service station and I knew the lads in the service station just from going in over the years. And they were talking to me, but it wasn't making sense. I was going, yeah, whatever, lads. And as I walked out, I felt it was falling to one side. I felt I'm going weak. And then I got this crushing pain behind the back of my eye. I went, this is not good. And I jumped in the car and I said, Dee, I'm having a brain hemorrhage. I said, I'm having a brain or a stroke or a brain tumor. There's something going on here. And she looked at me and she went, you look fine to me. I said, Dee, something is very wrong. I said, you need to get me the bone mount. And she goes, oh, you have a trapped nerve or something in your neck. Will you stop being over dramatic? I said, get me the bone mount. I said, ring Jenny on the phone. Tell her to meet me on bone mount. You need to get me the bone mount. Something's really wrong. You need to drive. And the funny thing is, I haven't got my glasses. I have a Porsche Jeep. And she's like, I'm not driving a Porsche. I haven't got my glasses. I was like, you need to drive. I cannot drive. You're not. And she was going to go, he's deadly serious here. So I got on the passenger seat. And I remember trying to drink some Diet Coke and choking. I was like, I'm choking here. I can't swallow. I was like, Dee, I can't swallow. I can't. And my breathing got really laboured. And when that, and then I said, my body was going limp. I feel myself getting weak in my eye, the pressure behind the back of my eye and my head. So I got a voice. Somebody had just the back of your head and they were just squeezing the life out of it. I was going, this is not good. We went to the bone mount as we arrived. My wife had arrived, Jenny. We soon to be a wife. And we walked in and we went up the triage straight away. I said, I have a brain injury. There's something going very wrong here. And they looked at me and went, okay. And they didn't think, fortunately, so any kind of brain blockage or bleed is classed as a stroke. When you think of a stroke, you always think the yellow person, they'll have the slurred speech and the head, the droopy eye. And they give me all these things called fast, you know, this or a fire, act fast. And I go, I've none of these symptoms. I'm telling you now, this is what I'm feeling. And they sent me down for an MRI straight away. And because on the back of my head, around the cerebellum, they could see it gone black and grey. We're like, okay, there's blood leaking somewhere, and it's grey. So we sent out for a second MRI. And because it was 9 o'clock at night, there was no consultant on call. It's just the probably consultant got home. You're dealing with probably a senior registrar, whoever's looking after the resource department that night, and they're on to whoever's on call on the phone. And they were like, send down for another MRI, and they took a lower MRI, and they could see there was blood in the back of my neck. And at that stage, then I started vomiting blood. There was blood in my vomit, and they sent me down there for a CAT scan, and they read to see there was a dissection. The artery on the current artery on my neck had dissected, and that sounds that was the main passageway to your cerebellum. Cerebellum looks after everything. It looks after your speech, it looks after your sight, it looks after your balance, it looks after your hearing, your swallow, everything. If I hadn't got that side, I'd have a little bit of droopy face. The fact that he got me this side, that was it. So they were just okay. The cerebellum was dissected. It stopped the blood flow. The carotid artery actually got up, was dissected. It stopped the blood flow to your cerebellum. So for us now, we just need to get you stable. So at 1 o'clock, half 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, they brought me up to intensive care on the stroke ward. And it was just like, okay, just keep stable until the consultant came around the next morning. The consultant came around the next morning, and at that stage then, my vision was gone. Everything had gone upside down and just a blur. I could see just make out smudges. I couldn't make out. Vision was gone. My hearing was gone. Remember, you used to go do the hearing test. I go, you can't see your finger. And you say, put your finger in your nose. Now, what about a chance of hitting your nose? I had my body was gone there. I could lift, I knew I was in my hand, but I had no control over it anymore. I was waving and I was flapping. I couldn't hold myself up. And my speech was gone. My breathing was laboured. I couldn't swallow. And this was on, they were saying, I remember the consultant saying, Jenny, this is not good. It's your husband has severe brain trauma. He has a brain injury. And Jenny's like, but how? And they were able to say, with the shades of the blood, where your blood shades the back of your head when it dries out, the different shades of grey can tell you, basically the shades of grey, typical. They were able to tell you whatever, how long it's been there. They were say that happened 6-7 days ago. Was he in a collision? He was in a skiing accident. Someone skied into him. I say, okay, that was his first hemorrhages there then. And he's had 3 since, and now the final dissection happened last night. So I had went in maybe 9 o'clock on the Monday morning instead of 9 o'clock that night. There was a chance you could get a stent in and hold the artery together. So my artery bent over like so, bent over like a straw, and one just went pop on the inside, which forced the blockage. If I had got a stent in, there's a chance it would have been able to clear it. Not 100% chance, but there's a chance I wouldn't have been as severe as it happened. So the next morning, as I said, given all this bad news, and they said to Jenny, basically, we don't know what to do. The truth is, he'd be in intensive care here for 4 months minimum, and then he'd be able to Dunleary for 6 months minimum with no guarantee of recovery. But Jenny's like, will he swallow again? We can't say. Will he hear it again? We can't say. Will he talk again? Everything we can't say because we don't know. There's only 10% survival at this level. Like, I was suffocating out at this stage. I was on suction. I was on ventilation because I couldn't swallow. I was able to vomit, which is a sick joke. You're able to vomit and get sick, but you can't swallow. And you can't move your body. Your body's got to lift now. Like I said, my body, like so. To this day now, the right side of my body is numb, so I can bite it, I can chew on that, and I won't feel it, or I can't tell hot and cold. But the same thing on my face. I have a thing called Horner syndrome on the left side of my face because that's where the cerebellum is, and on that sort of around by my eye, it's like having severe sunburn on top of my head, and on your face, then on the lower part of your face is like having frostbite. I'm in severe pain on my right hand side constantly because it's phantom pain because all the nerve receptors are dead. So when I run, I don't feel my foot hitting the ground when I run. I don't know it's moving, but I trust it moves. So for me, when I don't feel that impact. Even I hit that now, I don't feel that impact. I can't tell what's hot or cold. I can't feel any impact. And my internal organs now are slowing down. I have a thing called gastroparalysis and organ paralysis on my right side. And so people will go, oh, you made a full recovery, you look great. All my trouble is on the inside. So it's the stuff you can't see. Because the nerve receptors, when I eat, I can only hold so much food down. I had a permanent feature put in, which was taken out. Lucky enough, I was able to learn how to read. But there was a time when they thought I'd never eat again. I was never meant to walk in. I was never meant. So everything has gone full side. But most of my issues now are on the inside, but you just can't see. So I have tremors in my eyes. I wear glasses now because I have tremors in my eyes because my focus, my eyes are constantly racing because they don't know how to relax any longer. When I run, you would have seen me at the Dublin Marathon run with a guide. I go blind. Once more, I can't bring my heart rate over 150. When I go over 140, I go completely blind, and after maybe mile 10 or 11, the whole of my body goes limp. And that's why I had to go with me now for long distance running.
I was reading that you
Again, I say I don't run in when it rains, Ger.
Well, it's only because I run with shower these days. I get electric shocks in my head because my body can't process. It can't process anything. So when I get hit, like it's just like that now. When I get hit, it doesn't know where it's warm, it doesn't know where it's cold. So the only way your body processes injury now is like little electric shocks. So when it rains, if we run the rain, I get electric shocks in my face and my body.
Jeez.
At what point on that path to recovery did you have a moment with yourself that I'm going to start running again? I'm going to get better. At what point in that recovery process did you begin to realize, listen, I'm getting better. I can do this. I can do that. How scary was that? And
it was terrifying. It was the last weeks after 12 hours in the hospital. It was like, Jenny, say goodbye. Like, I knew I was going, and they were like, good. Last words were given after 12 hours, and then it was getting very dark. It was only ever my kids had been away. They were away that week still with their mum. And we were like, do we ring them? Like, so we rang my ex-wife and we're like, we agreed we weren't going to bring the kids home. There's no point looking at me in an intensive care ward. That's not good for any trauma for any child. But we did decide if it did look like it was nailed, get them home ASAP. But looking at that never happened. But as I lay in hospital for that first week and a half, I was only ever 2 minutes away from biting my tongue. I was going, this is not how I live. I don't go from being one of the fittest guys, if not the fittest guy in the room, being a guy that can't walk. Like, put me in I was in a wheelchair and I'd fall over to the side. I couldn't sit up. I was soiling myself. I couldn't shit. I could do it over. My body had left me. In my head, I was still Ger. My brain was still intact, but I couldn't do anything. And I remember they were like, you had to get a nose feed in now to feed you because I couldn't swallow. So I had a nose feed in my stomach, in my stomach nose for 6 weeks. And then they put the permanent feed in my stomach, which, lucky enough, I did learn how to eat again. And that actually, my body rejected that. So it was a case of learning how to eat again. But I suppose the big turning point was only 3 weeks. And I had this amazing physio called Sonia McConnell down there in Beaumont in the trail. And she used to say to me, if you can get your feed in your stomach, they give you the stomach feed and you can pump yourself up a milkshake because it's just a syringe. That's how they taught it eat from now on. And you can get on your Zimmer frame. You can decide not to go to Dunleary, the rehab centre, for 6 months. They'll let you go home and they'll send a rehab team home to you for 6 to 8 weeks. That's all. But at least you're home. I remember thinking, okay, that's so after 3 weeks. There's videos out there, you'll see that I have a page called Work It Out 2025, and that's my recovery page. But you see at the very beginning how I'm trying to learn how to walk, how I'm trying to learn to do silly things again, put your finger on your nose, which seems the easiest thing in the world. But when you have control of your body, like, your finger might be going. I said, we're going to start hitting your nose. Like, you just haven't got a clue. Like, you just like put your foot in front of you. Like, even to this day, if I jump out of bed in the morning, I'll fall on my arse. Like, my body doesn't listen to me anymore. Like, the certain times I have to get warmed up. It's like, I can't concentrate. Read a paragraph in the newspaper. Like, I can't retain it at the best of times. I reread, it's like, oh, look at that. Like, someone dementia. What the hell, Alzheimer's? What the hell's going on? But it's just like everything tires you. I sleep for 16, 18 hours a day. And that's why that can maybe continuous. That may be forever. Like I said, only 10% live from the level stages. There's not enough information, not enough research on this type of injury to know where it's going. But Anto Lee, the famous Anto Lee from Donna D, he was coming to me once a week. And I remember saying, maybe 4 weeks in, I said, Anto, and he's the pacer selected for the Dublin Pacers and the Dublin Marathon. I said, Anto, I want to do the Dublin City Marathon. And he's like, okay. I said, I want to pace 6 hours. That was suddenly a goal. And he's like, no, you're not. What are you talking? He said, you can't even walk in your Zimmer frame into the loo. The loo was at the end of my room and my ward, 10 meters away. I was like, I know, but this is my goal. He go, shut up. I said, Anto, I will. Let me. And suddenly then it went from, okay, I'm going to go 6 hours. And so I came home, I got released into community care. And I had another fantastic physio called Sarah at work. And within 2 weeks, she had me walking on the trails with my sticks. And then she had me down the beach. And we'd run for 20 seconds. And we'd fall over, But I pick myself back up. And to this day, I run on the beach every morning. Because I'll get up in the morning, I'll run the beach, and then I'll sleep for another 4 hours. But to this day, I still run the beach and I fall over. I sent you a picture, everything. I'm running the snow there 2 weeks ago. But I fall over. Once you accept you've no balance, you've no cerebellum any longer, and these are the consequences, and go with it, you're okay. So Sarah brought me to the beach. I only run the soft sand and fall over. Tried to pick myself up, or she'd pick me up and we go again. And it just, from there, it just grew. We went 6 weeks later, we done the LSA race and done a beta for a 4-mile race. I was going, you know what, I was actually looking up, I'd gone down to 7 stone because I couldn't eat. I was actually, this is great, I'm looking at you. Oh my God, this was, look at these guys, like 6-minute miles, and
You're like a kite.
140. It is a gut, but anyway, the weight's gone back on since. But yeah, it just came back. But I've no balance. So when you're running, you don't have the balance. It's forward momentum. Even though I can't feel on that leg, I still have to believe, and it does go forward, even though I can't feel it. But because of that balance phase, you can propel yourself. If you ask me to walk and I need to hold somebody, or I'll fall over, or I'll get a mile and I'm exhausted, but I'll run all day. It's like, it's the one thing I've been left with, which is, it's great. It's fantastic. It's one thing I could be an ass. I said, yeah, running all day long.
So you couldn't walk, and your front had run. You couldn't feel anything on one side. Your goal was to get to the Dublin Marathon. You received the Lord Mayor's medal that year, 2024, just gone. Less than a year later, when you're doing a Dublin Marathon, could you not have just accepted that and not ran a 3-hour, 6-minute marathon and made the rest of us feel really bad for that, Ger? Like, I could walk and run all year and I was getting nowhere near that, Ger. Could you not have just went, I'll just do a 4:30 ease in and maybe build to the next year and get a little bit faster and stuff from there, Ger? Could you not do that for us?
I was going to get a t-shirt for you, and I was going to say, imagine being passed out by a guy that had 3 brain hemorrhages at that dissection. I'd be mortal. But I thought that would be too much for too many people to pass them out. Do you know what? Matt Collins was my pacer, and he was my guide. Matt Collins is a 2:25 marathon. He's amazing. He's super, you know. And I couldn't have asked for a better guide that day. Matt was out saying, Ger, we're coming to a curb, we're going to a ramp, 5, 4, 3, 1, lift your legs. We're going left, we're going right. And Matt it was a walk in the park for him, 3 hours. Up until mile 18, we were over sub 3 hours. And
wow.
My heart rate went up to, I think it was 157. My watch was beeping. And Matt was like, show me your watch. He says, your heart rate's up to 157. He goes, now, do you want to push on here? We go sub 3, or else, you take the risk that you may end up in intensive care this evening, or else we can go, do we slow it back down slowly? Because the goal was always 3:15 to 3:30. And that's how the previous day had said to me. And he still owes me, and you can listen to this podcast now, he still owes me a naked photo on Facebook. He said, you go sub 3:15. I will post myself naked on Facebook if you go sub 3:15. And I'm still waiting for that photo, Anthony. So whenever you're ready. But yeah, so 3:15 to 3:30 was always the goal. But it was just, you know what, with Matt was so comfortable, Matt was so encouraging. Even though I couldn't see, from, I think, mile 10 in my vision had gone completely, a mile maybe 16, 17, my body got completely numb on both sides then. It was just a lovely feeling. The amount of support you got around the course. And Matt was, as I said, we stood there and we said, we pull this back a little, because from mile 18 in, you're hitting Milltown. It does get a little bit tougher. This one it really has bites in. Yeah. And I probably could have went some 3, to be honest. And that's not being autistic. That's just, we could have put my heart rate, I would have put myself under more stress. I was just starting going, let's save this for another day.
How scary was that first time? Or was it like, did you experience more after mile 18 of just losing all those symptoms starting to kick in? Had you experienced that in training and stuff before that you were like, you were relaxed with it? Or were you like, Jesus, this could be a bad idea to hit 42.2? I'm assuming for the first time since the accident.
Yeah, like training, I don't do that thing to train. I just don't know. I haven't done any longer besides half marathons. I know the distance wasn't an issue. But for me, I suppose, I hadn't experienced the full numbness. You're used to one side being numb. The 2 sides being completely numb, the vision gone. Yeah, and do you know the point? I found myself going, ah! I was going, Matt, did you hear that? I'm making sounds. It's like, I heard it, Gerald. But I found myself like a 120. I go, ah! I was going, dude, Matt, this is messed up. I've never made sounds before in my life. I laugh at people when they're grown. You hear people talk to themselves racing. Come on! I go, I'm one of those people. I did all the time. This isn't even voluntary, man. I guess it's just coming out of me. But I found myself, my body was just exhausted. And when I felt like when we actually stopped when we hit the line, I actually stopped. I just fell over. It's funny, as soon as you stop, I could fall over. But I couldn't do it up to that point. Once we kept on that motion going forward, and Matt, the crowds, it was brilliant. It was just like full on, keep the head down, keep on going. And for me, it was great to because I talked to my consultants, I was like, I'm going to do the marathon. And they were like, we want you to do the marathon. Like, it's going to be hard. Like, but my goal is still to climb Everest before the next 4 or 5 years. That was always my goal before I was 50. And it's still my goal. I'd like to say this consultants, and as we're getting to the end now, my big thing now is making brain injury people aware. It's not the end. Like, for me, like, I'm out doing the odds, and he said to me over a year, you're a million times better than we ever imagined. 5 years of rehab, we would never imagine you'd be at this level. Yes, you have a numb body. My jaw dislocates, which is like because of how I'm in day-to-day pain. Like, there's no point sugarcoating it. Every day, even as I talk to you now, I'm in pain. My body aches, and that's probably an 8 or 9 out of 10. My eye is burning. Like, my face and my jaw is sore. Like, and that's from talking, that's from eating, and that's. But I can't touch it. I can't feel it. Like, I can bite myself. So it's a multitude of things that are going on constantly. Like digestion, I have it's called gastroparalysis. My organs works between 21% and 38% on my lungs, my intestines, all the day. But you don't see that.
Huh.
So every day is a constant struggle. Like, it's as I said, I sleep for 16 to 18 hours. Like, after this now, I'll go sleep the next 4 hours. And that's when you say, can we do an daily podcast? I was like, happy days. Brilliant. You know, I ran for my hour this morning on the beach. I can go to bed now. You know, and it's just, you're exhausted. Like, your life is completely different to what it was, but I'm still alive. I'm still fighting on. And the consultant, I'll be saying to the consultants, and they're like, Ger, they, when you coming in to give the talks, because there's young guys in their 30s, in their 20s, who may have had strokes for different reasons. As I said, any blockage rate bleed is classed as a stroke or a hemorrhage. And I couldn't say that word for a long time. It used to embarrass me saying stroke. And that sounds, people would say, oh, my mom had a stroke, Ger, she got over it in 4 weeks. I didn't have a stroke. I had a brain hemorrhage. I used to say I had a CEAT. You know, I had a dissection. I get angry about it and go, yeah, we grabbed that as well. Like, oh, you're not listening to a word I said. Or oh my God, I know it's classic. Like, it's like saying I'm buying a car. What car did you buy? There's 1,000 different types out there. So there's 1,000 different types of strokes. But the one that we all know about is the Mercedes. The one and only, you know, the one that's the front of your face, where granddad was left a little speech impediment or a bit droopy face because he smoked 80 John Pepper Blue a day, because he went drinking. I didn't do anything. And that's what people think a stroke is. I was going, no. Mine was caused from a dissection. It was a freak accident. There's better odds on winning the lotto than there is this happening. That's how mad it is. And the funny thing, like, my mate Roy, who I run with now more than anybody else, the morning of I was going skiing, he actually texted me, #don't do a Schumacher. And it's the same thing again. You know, it's a freak accident. And my kids would always say, oh, Dad, why did it happen? You know, I go, I never ask why. I never once do we look up and go, why, God, why did this have to happen to me? I say, I'm so blessed to happen to me, not my wife, not my kids, not my close friends, because I was better prepared for it. I'm stupid enough, thick enough, egotistic enough to believe I'll get on with life. I mean, I'll never make a full recovery. I'll never be the old Ger. But I know that I'm strong enough to get on with being the Ger that I'm left with now. And that's enough more. Like, that's better than 99%. As you say, 3 hours, 6 minutes. You know, it's better than 99% of the runners out there. And that's enough. But for me now, as I was talking to consultants, and it's like, what can I give back now? And I was talking to young guys, 25, who may be born with a hole in their heart and went completely undetected. And suddenly they end up having a stroke and they find out this side of their body is limp or that. I've been in the wards. I was in the wards with boys in their 50s and 60s in intensive care who died at 3 o'clock in the morning. Same thing as me. They choked out. Because when you can't move and your suction machine gets full, you choke. And that's a freaky, horrible, it's a horrible experience at 3 o'clock, I can assure you. And you're crying out, your voice is gone, help, help. That's all you can say. And nobody's, they're in a glass ward, but you're hoping that machine goes off in time. That someone's going to hit you and bring you back. And I've been there once or twice during, and they were dark days. But I've seen 2 guys either side of me die in that first couple of weeks. And as I said, in my head, I was still Ger. I was still the fittest guy in the room, but I couldn't understand why my body had deserted me. But I was also in the other end of the ward. We have guys who were 25 who now, because of a hole in their heart or a heart condition, they had a slight stroke. And because of his blurred face and the numb face and the blurred vision, they're going, my life is over. You know, guys, it's not. We have so much more to live for. You know, and it's hard for people to understand because it's unseen. People look at you, I've said a million times already, you look great, you made a full recovery. Well, how did you define that? Well, I seen you around the marathon. And did you see me fall over the line? Did you see when I was sick for days, when I slept for the next 72 hours afterwards? Did you see my numb body? Did you see my broken body or my gastro paralysis, you know, where I couldn't pass anything for 6 days and your best league stage is take a laxative. Can you see those parts? But I don't hold it. I try to embrace that now, and I embrace that with people that are injured, and people that have the same brain injury or a different type of brain injury. We're going through the same kind of. There is hope. We can all do this together. We can all get through this. Like we're all on our own story. We're all on a different journey. You have I don't know your personality or Sean, but also know that you have your story. There's a reason why you run. You may only tell your partner, or it might be your mother or father are the only people who know, but we all have a story. We're all running as some form of therapy. There's not one person out there going, I run because it's lovely. It's not. We're all running out there because we have a story. Anybody that's motivated is running because they're running. Whether it's soccer, boxing, jiu-jitsu, we all have some focus. And whether you're running for your sister that died 10 years ago, or you're running because your brother's ill, we all have a story. We're all doing it for a reason. And it's making people, for me now, it's making people aware. My story is brain injury because it goes under the radar. As I said, 10% only live to the level I got. And for the 10%, I'm at the higher level that's getting over it. But for me, which is, yes, I have my spirituality, I have my faith, and I can only put it down to that. And I'm a very positive person, and I'm a stubborn prick. And that's what I put it down to. And yeah, the years of racing, the years of, having the rugby community around was great. I had the triathlon community. I used to be a high performance trainer for GA clubs before this happened. It's kind of ironic. Like before this happened, 2 years ago, I finished a degree in high performance in sport. But I also was halfway through a course in trauma counselling. And it was for people, and I always said, I was dealing with people who had something that they broke up. It was only for men. And I always had the name Work It Out. It was Work It Out 2024, 2025. Therapy for men through sport. I was bringing, because I deal with young men every day of the week. And whether it's dealing with heartache, trauma from their childhood, just internal trauma, abuse, whatever it was, gambling. And I always, this is what I'm going to go down. And it's funny now that I find out I had a major trauma. Now, if anybody's more prepared to listen to someone and understand what's going through with people, this was it. And I thought it's just a challenge. I don't see it as a big, oh, my life could have been differently. I see it as, okay, it's a new opportunity. It's just the universe pointing me in a different direction.
It's mass full circle. It's going back to what you said earlier. You can't talk about running a marathon until you've done a marathon in a mad way. That's for me. I said, I'm in the process. I'm very lucky now. I'm in the process of making a documentary with Irish runner on Frank Reilly. We're writing a book. I'm going to do the talks. So it's putting it out there. Look, we're not hiding away from it. And it'd be very easy for me. People, it's the struggles. Obviously, there's going to be financial. I was self-employed. I'm not entitled to any benefits. I haven't made a penny since last February. My company's gone. I've had to share my company because I'll never go back to work. I'm not, even if I could physically, I'm not allowed to lift. I'm not allowed to take stress. Because anything that raises your heart blood pressure is a no-no. I'm on blood thinners and medications for life now. So there's parts where you go, yeah, it's completely different. I can allow myself to feel sorry for myself, but where's that going to get me? Like, it's only negative energy. It's wasted energy. That negative energy might well be put to something positive. So when I start only sleeping 14 hours a day, I give me 2 to 4 hours extra that I can put towards my story, helping others. And that's where it's going. It's the opportunity to talk to guys like yourself and say, okay, yeah, I was a good runner. I was never the best runner. I always say to people, I was never a Premiership footballer, but I was probably the best at the Championship level. I was a good Sunderland. For the amount of effort I put in, I was blessed I was able to run so many sub-3s. I was blessed I was able to turn up every week if I wanted and run 250 without training. Maybe if I had put the 100 hours in, 100 miles in a week, I would have been that 230. I don't know. I never know. But I'm very blessed and fortunate to where I got. And just be able to give something back now and still encourage. Hey, listen, I'm still here. So it's great to have that opportunity.
And phenomenal that you mentioned us in your book as well. I couldn't believe you said you were going to do that.
Could you mention about that fact I think Sean's still out there,
Yeah, you might mention the book how many times you're going to pass me out in a couple of weeks' time. But
Once I wear the American football top, would be fine.
They're knocked out this year. I won't. I'll stick with the top. Eric dressed me in for this one.
I have him on brand, Ger. Ger, to bring it full circle, the Lord Mayor's Award, was that a symbol of a point in recovery? Because obviously you're still living it. It's still the unseen. But was that a moment of triumph and one, let's say, could it be one of your proudest runs you've ever done and that's signifying that moment?
Yeah, it was my proudest day. It's for many other reasons, obviously. I've won races on behalf of my son who was ill, and my middle child who was ill when I ran the first 20 marathons in 6 months. It was lovely being able to achieve bigger races. I won national records. I've done 12-hour races. I've won national titles and 100k races. But for this, the fact that there was 1,500 nomination, 1,500 people nominated for the Lord Mayor's Award, and I got 1,300, which says massive amount about the run for the running community to reach out and people taking the effort to actually fill out the questionnaire and say, yeah, Ger Copeland. And I remember they said to me, the committee said to me, we actually thought it was one of the robots. No, the bot replies, but people were
somebody replied, yeah.
They were saying, there's something going on, something fishy. We said, we actually opened them up, and everybody had a different story. Everybody was able to say they're the 50-word piece, I know Ger from, or Ger brought me from, and Ger paced me. And that was lovely to know that you were recognised from your peers, which is great. And just to get back running, there's a very famous picture, you've seen it, I say famous, it's famous in my head. Myself and Jim Ogney embracing. Jim Ogney, the race director before, and after getting the award. And it was so emotional, but to find yourself, like, my wife said to me yesterday, she was so sometimes get sad, Ger, because I think you should maybe get home from Dunleary now. The rehab centre, that was your 6 months are up now. And the fact that we've done so much, we've achieved so much in the last year, like last 11 months now since it happened. You know, it's so to be at the Dublin City Marathon was always the goal, but you had to go around it so fast, you had to have all the encouragement. And everywhere you go, every race you go to now is like, Ger, well done. And I'm not, I don't want to be anybody, I'm not looking to be an inspiration. I'm not looking to be the keyboard hero. And there's too many of them on Instagram, there's too many of them on Facebook. You know, I hate this saying, no, not everybody, not all heroes wear capes. And I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to make people aware, whether like it's a brain injury, unfortunately it's cancer, or whether it's we can all get through this. We all, as I said, we all have our story. So yeah, that's for me. And I think the Lord Mayor's Award, it was just to have that many people behind me, the recognition that, yeah, I wasn't so bad that people didn't recognise what I did bring to running. I mean, bad as a person, I was not as a runner, but yeah, I had EOY. I brought people into running. I got people to reach their targets. And for people to show me that I was still held behind their regard was amazing. And even now, like, I still get hundreds of messages a week of people going, Ger, your story's just great. And so you're really more shocked by the people that don't reach out to you than the people that do. You know, there's actually, you see somebody go, geez, they never reached out. I thought they would have. Or that. And then you see people that go, Ger, you may have only met me once in a race, but I voted for you because I knew what you were about. And that's great. And just that story, it's just, yeah, it's hard for my family, my young kids, but it's a feel-good story. It's not the end. And it's a feel-good story for running, that we all kind of, like, we're all running from something, or we're all running to achieve something. And it's just that story again. It's just going, you know what, we're not finished. And it's very simple. And I just don't get wrong, I thank my lucky stars every day. I have a wonderful wife, I have wonderful kids. I have my faith, I have friends, I'm surrounded by great people. And I said, being given the opportunity to express it through podcasts like yourselves, what more would you want? Like, I can't go to negative. I can't just go, oh no, poor me, I've lost it all. It's not going to get me anywhere. But I don't want to do it. I want to be the guy that goes, so we can get through this together. And my motto of the club used to be always me, we. And it's the shortest poem in the English dictionary. It was Muhammad Ali. I'm not crest in our club, but always on their arm, it always has me, we. And it's very true. Like, it's always me, we. You know, I can lead you, but it takes the we was all together to pull through this. And that's my take on it.
On that note, Ger, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on the podcast this week. I realize we've taken up a lot of your time. Absolutely brilliant. And now I'm petrified. I have to go back out running now, so you don't let me too many times in Dundee next month.
You won't miss me. I remember Any Given Runday special. It'll be fine. You won't miss me.
I'm sure get that sorted on that one. And on that note, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. And myself, Ger, and Eric. Take care.
Thank you.